Welcome to another stepping stone to AAC, Best Friends Forever. We are talking about our furry friends this evening, our pets, the pets we may want, the animals we love, lots and lots of different things to talk about. I'm Courtney Mayholtz, and joining me this evening is my co-host.
Hi, I'm Heather Prenovo. Welcome.
Glad you're here tonight. Let's get started. So what are we going to do today? Well, we're going to be using this organization tool, which you'll find on AAC Learning Journey in the Content tab. There are several tools available for use for you there. One of them, as I mentioned, is this organization tool. The other thing that you have, and I'll show you what that tool is in a minute as well, is going to be the reference sheet. And we're going to walk through using this organization tool and all the things you can do with it tonight as we talk about our best friends forever. Give me just a minute as I'm pulling up all the things. Okay, great. And so this was the reference tool that I was mentioning. The reference tool is really great because it's going to allow you to remember all the things that we talked about tonight. So when you go back to your school or to wherever you are practicing or wherever your house, we want you to remember what we talked about. And we know that things happen, life is busy, and you might get back to your system and say, gosh, or to your setting and say, man, I really don't remember how I'm supposed to use this tool. So you're going to be able to reference all of the steps and what you do with that tool using this reference sheet. So let's go ahead and get going. So tonight, we're going to be talking about comic books and our best friends, because who doesn't love a good comic book? And what we want to do is walk you through how we can create our comic book together. Maybe we can even read it a little bit, depending on the amount of time that we have. But we want to walk you through the steps of what that would look like. And so let's just quickly jump over to that. And then we're going to show you how we're using comics. So tonight we are using Canva to create our comic. And as you can see here, I have put in my little bunny, Attila. So we're going to make a comic book about our best friend, one of my best friends, Attila. And if you've never used Canva before, it's a really great, fun tool. And so you can upload lots of pictures. You can see here, I've got 4 pictures of him there. You can just sort of copy and paste things in or upload files directly on the system. And I found this fun little comic just by searching for a comic book template. So you can see here, I searched comic or comic strip, and I picked this one because I liked it. Now I went ahead and got us started by putting Attila in a little cityscape, excuse me. But if I was building this with my AAC learner, one of the things I would say is, oh, look, Attila is going into the city. Where do we think he wants to go next? And so I would listen for those ideas, and maybe they would say,
Tacos.
he wants to go for tacos. So I'm going to type in tacos, or maybe
A taco truck.
taco truck or taco restaurant. Let's see what
Yeah.
we get. Oh, there's a fun taco restaurant. So we can put our restaurant in there and change the size. And you can see here, I can make this a blue background. So I don't have to do a ton of editing to the image itself. And maybe I'm going to put an Attila in there. So he's going to look and see all the choices for the tacos that he can have there. And I'm gonna maybe say, oh my goodness, how many tacos can he eat? Or what do we think he's gonna get?
Mm. And you can chat with us in the chat window if you've got some ideas of what do you think? I think he's gonna eat 2 tacos.
2 tacos. We can search for some tacos. Oh, look at that.
Perfect. Look at that.
2 tacos. So we'll put 2 tacos. And you know what? I think he's feeling pretty hungry and he's going to order some nachos too.
Mm. Dancing nachos or regular?
I think he's feeling pretty hungry and he just wants a big old plate of nachos this evening. So we'll put our nachos in there and maybe we'll put another.
We can put more Attila on there.
We're going to put more Attila in there. And I'm going to bring this one up so you can see as we play around with it, we can bring his nachos in front of him and his tacos by playing with the layering. What else should he eat or what else should he do? Where does he go after he eats his tacos?
Maybe he's going to go to the park.
I was thinking the same thing. He needs to work off all those nachos and tacos.
Or Attila.
We'll put him in the park. And again, we can just change that background to a nice little sky blue.
Attila's gonna go to the park.
He's gonna go. He can go anywhere he wants in that park. So you guys get the idea that we can really quickly and easily be responsive to our AAC learner and create this fun, engaging story and using this online resource. So let's jump back to our PowerPoint. And we're going to talk about the other resources that you have in the content tab. So in the content tab, you have 2 light tech boards or manual boards. You might also hear them referred to as low tech boards, but they're all communication boards. And the idea, right, with all those terms is that they don't talk, they just give you a a steady set of words. That's what I'm trying to say, right? We can't change and get more words because we just have this one page. So you do have one available here for Unity 84 sequence. Now, again, it's not sequenced. It's just showing you those 84 buttons, but it mimics that Unity 84. And if we look at the Unity 84, we can see a lot of the words that we were talking about with Attila, more, go, are available to us on this board. Feel free to type in the chat window any other core words that you heard as we were creating that comic book. Yep. So good words, more, go, in. There were lots of question words. Now with walk, was a good one. We were doing can, where, what does he want to eat? Where will he go next? How many? Yeah, lots and lots of core words. Now with a board like this low-tech board that you have, because Unity systems are sequenced, it's a little bit difficult, right? We don't have those question words available to us on this system, but if we were using our device, we would absolutely have those words available to us. Looking at the other light tech board that we've provided you, we do have lots of those same words that we just mentioned. More, go, in, and now we even have those question words. What, where, can. So lots and lots of different opportunities and language available. So we have already created our comic. I was a little ahead of ourselves in those slides.
So excited.
Excited to create that comic. But so let's go ahead then and talk about all of that language that we just identified in those LaTeX boards, and talk about how we really grow language, because that's really our focus this evening here at Another Stepping Stone. Another handout that you'll find in your AAC learning journey under that content section is going to be this pragmatic language stages chart. And we know that language growth occurs in all of the stages, right? We're always growing and changing and learning language. But what we really want you all to focus on as you are growing that language, specifically with your AAC learner, is really learning how to move beyond requesting, because requesting is the easy thing that we can do, right? We know that I can use this device and say, and ask for what I want. I can ask for those tacos. So it's really tempting to always be modeling and using your device for that way. But we know that language happens in many, many, many more contexts. So we encourage you when you're at that next level of language to think about the different reasons that we communicate. And you really want to choose a function of language based on your AAC learner stage. You know, if you're there in stage 1, you probably don't want to be picking a goal or a skill here in stage 6, because they're not going to be ready for that. So we want you to think about the other goals and the other functions of language that you could be using. And it's more than just the mean length of utterance. We grow language more than just adding words. We use words and language in different ways. So this is a really, really valuable chart to keep with you when you are trying to think about what else might I want to teach my AAC learner? What's the next step? So that's what we're going to do here. So those boxes never seem to work. Okay, no. So let's pull up our organization tool, and you can see here that I've already really started filling out this organization tool. We're creating this comic strip. We're going to create it, and then maybe we're even going to talk about the pictures, you know, and that's something we didn't mention, is that comics, sometimes because they're those wordless pictures, they sometimes they have no words. They're these wordless stories. They're really great for generating language, and generating language at all ages, right? It could be younger kiddos, that elementary age, or even high schoolers could get into comics. So it's age appropriate, age respectful tool that you can use across the ages when you're looking at therapy and growing language. So you're going to create your comic, and then we're going to read it. And we're really going to focus in today. One of the things that I have decided to use with my AAC learner, I'm just going to focus in on asking questions. So we really want to focus in here on requesting information. So I've written down that I'm going to create a comic strip. I'm going to request information. And now we really need to pick some core words that we want to target. So this is where that list comes in handy. So we said, if we were to look and think back at those core words that we said we were using while we were creating our comic and thinking about requesting information, a couple of those words that jump out to me were the words what and where. Oh, it helps if I can spell. What else should we focus in on? Oh, there's that question word again. We have lots and lots of choices. We had in, we had can, a little bit of some different categories of words. So can could be another question word. It could be a helping verb. In is one of those prepositions. Heather, what do you think? Is there something else you think we should focus in on?
I think you use the word go a lot. So
Mhm.
that kind of goes with all of these other core words. And that's the nice thing about this too, is if you are just starting out and are like, oh my gosh, that's too many words to focus on, start with just a couple. But as you get more comfortable, go ahead and add more. Sky's the limit, but just start simple to go with. And so any of these words that can combine together, to me, more bang for your buck.
Absolutely. Yep. Great. So we've got lots and lots of choices here. So we've got 5 words, even though it's a lot of words, not a lot of words, it's a reasonable number of words to remember that we're going to be modeling as we go through our task here. But because we've picked really valuable core words and we know core words are super, super valuable, we're going to be able to then go down in this section and really plan out our script. So if we can pair our question words with this preposition or even at some of our other verbs over here. So if we're thinking about where and go, we could then maybe also pair together what and can. What else would we want to do? Where go, what can.
And go.
Sorry, say that again, Heather.
Can go.
Can go. Yep.
Or we might even start expanding, which we'll talk in a minute about can he go?
Yep, exactly. And so now that we've got our core word phrases, and depending on the level of language that your AAC learner is at, maybe you are at that 3-word phrase. So instead of can go, you're going to be working on can he go? Can he go to the park? Can he go over there? Lots and lots of different choices. And what then that final step on your organizational tool, just so that you're super prepared to be modeling language at that next level, is to write out that script for what you're going to say during your activity. So we're going to say, where should he go now? That's one of our questions we can ask. What else?
Where did he go?
Where did he go when we're reading our book back? Yep.
Or where, I think you said, where will he go next?
Where will he go next? Yeah, great. Great, great. Lots of options there for both creation and reading and, comprehension and talking about the activity afterwards. Let's go ahead and move on now to the what can phrase. So we could say something like, what can he do?
What can he have?
What can he have?
When he was at the taco truck.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell it's dinner time?
Sure can. We could also say, what can he, well, we did do.
What can he bring to the park?
Bring.
Those open-ended questions are always great because then they can have fun. They might surprise us with their responses.
Absolutely. Yep. So then, and we're not going to go through all of these, but for this next question or the next phrase, we just wanted to highlight, as we've talked about, can be that question word, or it can be a helping verb. So can he go to the library next? Or we could even flip it around and say he can go to the movie theaters or whatnot. Or we can even just simplify it with he can. So now we have our script. Let me stop editing so that we don't, so we can see everything nice and cleanly here. So we know we're going to create our comic. Requesting information is what we're focusing on, and all those questions. So let's go back to our comic strip, maybe. And as we do this, I'm going to kind of move these guys around a little bit. Maybe if I can there we go. So I'm going to bring my comic over here, and I'm going to bring my device over here so we can see modeling happening as we're making our comics. So now, as we're going to be adding to our words, I'm going to move this off screen just a little bit. You guys kind of saw the options over there. Now, as we're filling out our very last strip of our comic, I'm going to be modeling and saying,
where
can he go now? So that was a sentence we came up with on the fly. It wasn't one of those ones we had necessarily programmed in. Or I would say, where should he, sorry, my mouse is a little slow tonight. Where should he
go?
All right, so where's Attila going this time? He's had his exercise at the park. Now I think he wants to go to a movie theater. Oh gosh. What can I spell? Let's see what happens.
It's one of those that has so many spellings.
I know, right? Here.
There you go.
Do this black and this is a good crash course in Canva. Y'all are seeing it. Okay, so there we go. So there's our black and white movie theater. And then maybe we're even gonna put another Attila in there. So I'm just gonna copy him and paste him into the movie theater. And so then we have all of those questions that we can be talking about with him in the movie theater. We can say what he see, right? Or
and the nice thing that Courtney's showing is even though she's talking in full sentences, you don't have to find every word on your device. So don't stress yourself out modeling just a couple of the words, but expanding the language is always great.
Absolutely. And we can maybe say, well, he's at that theater, or what can he eat there? Keeping on some of those food related words and things that we've been talking about. So you get the idea that we've picked just those few words, and now we're moving beyond to expand our utterances and focusing in on those different questions. So let's jump back to our PowerPoint and move this guy off the screen. Oh, got to get the right mouse here to move my iPad.
It's the best part, right? 2 mice.
All right. So as we were talking about that script for aided language, you saw that we did this, and Heather and I talked about it and focused on it when we wrote that script out, was that we encourage you to use open-ended questions so that you can really and comments, so you can really focus on that language and expand out and respond to anything. Using those yes/no questions only gives the learner the opportunity to say 2 words. So if we're using open-ended questions, we can really talk about anything. And if they're only responding with those 1 or 2 word phrases, we want you to respond and recast. So like Heather was saying, is what I was doing was just modeling 1 or 2 words on that system in my sentence. But I could just as easily, if my AAC learner said, oh, I want him to, um, eat popcorn. Or maybe they just say popcorn. I could then go in and say eat popcorn. And I can model that he is going to eat popcorn. He eats popcorn at the movie theater. So lots and lots of opportunities for you to grow that language, and lots of easy strategies to glom onto.
Yeah, and you can just add 1 or 2 words. So if they gave you just eat, maybe you just add popcorn today. And now maybe they got eat popcorn, and now you can do eat more popcorn or he eat popcorn, just slowly adding on to it.
Yep. So that's your organization tool in a nutshell. Pick your activity, pick what skill you want to focus on, pick out those words, and then write your phrases and get modeling. And remember that it's okay to make those mistakes and practice. So these are just those words, just highlighting on that low tech system or those light tech systems that we've really been focusing in on today. And if we wanted to, we would even maybe add go and eat. But those couple of words, what, where, and can, are all available on those light tech systems, even on this one. So this is highlighting for your Unity one here on the left. It's highlighting your question words and that helping verb can. But we also have the word eat down here in the bottom row, as well as that word go available on that light tech system. All right, so we have modeled our language. So after going through all these steps and modeling the language, what questions do we have out there? Or how did it feel during the practice? Or even what are your next steps? What are you going to go and do tomorrow? And share the handouts. We want the handouts to be used so people can always go back and watch those recordings, and the handouts are available. We think these are really great tools. We've gotten lots of great feedback from the people and teams over the years. So please feel free to share those so that everybody gets comfortable with AAC. So I feel like that's a next step, take these out, pick that activity, and get started tomorrow.
No, I think just kind of summarizing what Courtney mentioned and how she demonstrated tonight is just kind of pick something, get started, start small, and keep adding to it is the key. We've had a few webinars this week really talking about that. Start small, repetition, find an activity. And that's what I love about this one, Courtney, is I worked with older students and I could totally do this, but I could have taken it to my preschool, kindergarten kids as well and use the same activity.
And this is such a great open-ended activity that you could do it with anybody's interests, right? You don't.
Oh, yes. So if they're into trains, or I had somebody who has ceiling fans, hey, write a comic about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's such a great open-ended activity that it just makes everything really easy. And yeah, great points. Well, if anybody has any questions, you have our information. You have Heather's information and my information. You can also give us some feedback or ask questions through AAC Learning Journey. But thank you all for joining us this evening, and we hope you have a good rest of your evening.